I caught my best friend dating my ex-girlfriend. He hid it for months.
That breaks bro code.
Cassie, 24 female, and I, 23 male, were together for 5 years. We started dating in high school and stayed together through college, moved in together after graduation. I've been in love with her since before our first date. She's amazing, and I still think so. By the way, this comes from user ThrowRA8653568, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. As Opie says, we were talking about marriage and starting a family soon. Then, one day, a few months ago, Cassie wanted to talk. She sat me down and said she decided she doesn't want kids. She didn't just mean not now, but not ever. She talked a lot about overpopulation or climate change or whatever, but I was just immediately depressed. I've always wanted to be a dad. My dad was a piece of crap, and this is something I've wanted to do ever since I was still a kid myself. When she finished talking, I told her it was over. She started crying, and I was already crying, but F. If she doesn't want the same thing that I do for the future, what else can I do? She said she's been thinking this way for years, and the vid was the last straw. I'm not going to wait around and hope she changes her mind when she might not.
Good, because she's probably not gonna. You should not assume that she's gonna.
Yeah. So, I moved out and moved in with my best friend, Ryan, 23 male. We've been friends forever. Like, we bonded over Pokemon cards. I'm wearing a Sandshrew shirt at the playground kind of thing. He's basically my brother, and his mom was my extra mom since I didn't have much at home growing up. I was in a hurry to move out, so I didn't take much stuff with me, and then I didn't want to go back to the apartment and see Cassie. So Ryan was doing the good friend thing and going to get stuff for me whenever I needed it. Oh boy. He was getting more than just stuff, I think. Yesterday would have been Cassie and I's 6-year anniversary, and it was really rough for me. So I told Ryan I didn't want to be alone and wanted to hang out and game all day with him. He agreed on everything, but was kind of distracted on his phone a lot. After a couple hours, he said something came up and just left me there all alone.
Oh, well, that's really crappy friend behavior.
Well, what was this something that came up? Was it an emergency?
No, I think it's additional really crappy friend behavior.
Yes. Crap got dark. I'm not ashamed to say I cried. There were reasons I didn't want to be alone that day. Almost midnight last night, Ryan finally came home and was acting weird, so I asked what was up. I thought maybe his mom was sick or something. She's a teacher at a school that just reopened. But no, Ryan sits me down and tells me he's moving out. He's been secretly dating Cassie since a few weeks after we split? Wow. Ryan. Way to be the scum of the earth. Way to put a guy more down when he's knocked down already. Ryan says they're in love already and that she needs him more than I do. So he's moving into the apartment with her and leaving me here all alone.
It's a girl fresh out of a really long relationship.
Yep.
Buddy.
Wow.
Buddy.
I do not know how the F to process this. I don't know which one of them has broken me more. To make things worse, I messaged some of our other friends this morning to tell them what's up, and they already knew.
Oh, so all your friends suck.
So everyone's doing this behind your back.
Also, not that it really matters on who like the bigger betrayer is, but I do feel like it's your bro you've had since elementary school.
They all suck. Everyone sucks here other than you, OP. When I got upset, they all said it was no big deal because I'm the one who broke up with Cassie. Where do I even go from here? I can't talk to my friends. My ex broke my heart. My best friend stomped on it. And the closest thing I have to family is gone because guess what? They were his family too. I'm lost and I do not know where else to turn. And we have an update.
I don't know, but it's time to find some better
It's
friends.
time. This is the perfect time to start a new life. It does suck, but I think moving away, just starting anew, because if you stay here,
you need to move away,
well, if you stay here, if you see these people, it's just like a constant reminder.
Sometimes you can't just uplift your job and like move places that easy.
I'm not saying
like I think you can stay in the town perfectly fine if you want to, but I would still drop your friends and talk to them.
They're dropped, but Obviously, I'm not saying drop everything right now, but I think this is like the process and getting the wheel spinning of I should probably, like, I don't want, I wouldn't want to be there. I would not want to be, if this happened in LA, don't care. I would get out of LA. I'm like, this is a great excuse for me to move somewhere else, experience a new city, start new, find new people that I can be, call friends and people I can trust from the ground up. So, but there is an update. Bigger crap to worry about than my broken heart, I guess. Ryan texted me. I'm about to be homeless in a pandemic. It's been a few weeks and some stuff has happened. But as the post blew up, I got a good number of really crappy comments that informed me I was a worthless piece of crap, or that I was probably already some kind of horrible person who hated her and wanted to control her body. I also got a ton of love, support, private messages offering connections of housing, and more, but being I was already in a dark and desperate place, those other comments really twisted the knife. I had to spend some time away, not just fixing my crap, but also avoiding that stuff because it was really not making me want to move forward. One thing I want to clarify here, since a few people swung for the fences based on what I posted, I don't hate Cassie. I don't think she shouldn't move on. I don't blame her for dating someone else after I broke up with her. I do have a lot of anger still thinking about this.
I think you can blame her for dating your best friend of like forever within weeks of dumping you or getting dumped by you, though. I think that one's fair to have some anger about.
Yeah, he's saying all that anger is at Ryan. That's it.
I'm just saying I think you could have anger at both of them.
I think,
but I do agree. I think Ryan betrayed you more.
Yeah, especially when he's like, "Oh yeah, move into my place. I will help you move. I'll go help get your stuff from Cassie's
I'll
spot.
be there for you. I'll make sure you get through this," and then just leaves you for Cassie. Yeah. That's a betrayal.
I think they're both equal. I mean, Ryan definitely is the one you've known longer, but they both suck, in my opinion. Ryan is the one who lied to me and went behind my back, not Cassie. My post pretty clearly stated that I think Cassie is an awesome human being. I still think that. Period. We just wanted different things. But on to actual updates. Shortly after I posted, Ryan texted me to say that he'd planned to give me a month to find somewhere else to live. But since I couldn't be happy for them, he wanted me out by Friday. Looking back on it, I kind of think this was his plan all along. Cassie's parents owned the apartment I lived in with her, so we paid bills on it, but no rent. Ryan's apartment was expensive, and his parents still paid some of his bills there. So I suspect he was looking for an excuse to break his lease and get in on that free rent instead. But I have a place to live now. You guys helped me out after all, in a weird way. A couple days after I posted, this guy, TJ, hit me up on Facebook. Hey, TJ, with the link to my post asking if it was me. TJ and I weren't close friends before all this, but he recognized some of the details. Skipping some back and forth, it turns out Ryan lied to all our mutual friends about the situation.
Shocked.
Apparently, he hooked up with Cassie the first time about a week after we split up. He asked some of our friends what to do, and they all told him to make sure I was cool with it first. He then told them he had talked to me and that I was happy for him. So, when I started freaking out a couple months later, my friends all thought I was going crazy out of nowhere.
What friends believe that you're just cool with your best friend hooking up with your ex of 6 years?
A week after you broke up.
Okay, so at least it seems like your friends suck a little less, but they might be really dumb.
Yeah, and Ryan is even getting worse and worse. He's just digging that grave. Again, my friends all thought I was going crazy out of nowhere over something I'd known about for months. Once they found out what really happened, I got a lot of apology texts. Some of them I've accepted, some are still on red. A couple of guys offered me space to crash or help moving, and I wound up staying with TJ, but only till I can find somewhere else. My days of living in places without my name on the lease are over.
Smart.
I learned my lesson there. I found a roommate looking for a place through Craigslist, and we signed the lease last week. Moving from TJ's happens this weekend. By the way, you know what you can do every day is listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to your favorite podcast app such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left, but I mean, things are getting at least more positive, which is good, OP. I'm happy for you. But yeah, this is such a tale of betrayal, especially from Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's definitely not your friend anymore. Seems like some of the other ones might be redeemable, maybe.
I know you're putting 100% of your blame on Ryan, which I think is, very valid. But Cassie also did this to you, and she knew, like, I'm gonna hook up with OP's best friend that he's moving in with.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Cassie doesn't matter anymore.
Cassie doesn't.
You broke up with her. We don't care about Cassie anymore.
They
we
just-
can still
yeah.
be really upset with Ryan for a bit, I feel like. But, like, you did break up with Cassie. Is it still a betrayal that she immediately went with your friend? Yes. But, like, ultimately, if you broke up with her, like, as much as that sucks, she's allowed to do that.
Knowing
it's
Ryan-
a crappy thing, though. But that brings me back to Ryan just being like, you're crappy because then you went in there and did that with her. Like, dude, it's your best friend.
Knowing Ryan, he also probably lied to Cassie, saying, "Yeah, you know what? OP thinks this is a good idea.
Yeah, what?
We do this."
OP sent me over here so we could hook up.
Yeah. Why do you think he sent me over here? You think You think I want to just help move his stuff? No, I want you. There's a little bit left here. Ryan is blocked out of my life. I probably forgot some of my stuff at either his place or Cassie's, but it's whatever. I can get new stuff. I can get new friends. More than anything else, this situation made me realize the importance of having stable, independent housing and not counting on anyone else to do the right thing by me. I have to have my own back in life and not rely on others. That's about all I've got. It's nothing dramatic, I guess. No one was hit by a car, got pregnant, or turned out to be cheating. But I've never been so glad to have a roof over my head and a bed to come back to. I'm going to keep going from here, keep working on life, and I'm sure as heck going to be taking a break on the dating front. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, I mean, this does suck. It does suck for OP because now his trust issues, like he's not gonna have trust issues, but like it's valid to be
if
like,
it makes him feel any better, I do think Cassie and Ryan are not gonna date very long.
Yeah.
You probably won't have to hear about that for much time.
I wonder what Ryan's mom thinks. Because, like, again, that's, like, obviously Ryan's mom, but OP's mother figure.
He probably lied to her.
Oh, probably.
So she probably doesn't actually know. So she probably doesn't think anything wrong about him.
I mean, she'll be like, why are you dating OP's ex-girlfriend so soon? Isn't that weird to you? Or, like, isn't that 6 years? How can you do that? OP was cool with it, Mom. No. Good for you, OP. Go out there. You know what you learned here, and happy that you got to get a roof over your head and figure things out slowly but surely.
I thought I knew my boyfriend until one contact changed everything.
Was it Pizza Hut or Domino's?
I, 21 female, caught my boyfriend, 23 male, talking to himself through a messaging app. He has a number saved in his contacts as his supervisor. By the way, this comes from Correct Witness 3052, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, instance number 1. During the holidays, he told my family and I that he was working on call. He said he was going to text his supervisor and see if he could get off earlier. 10 minutes later, he shows me his phone and shows me messages of this supervisor approving his request. Great, now we can actually relax and I don't have to worry about you leaving any second. Instance number 2. We're on the train together, but the train keeps getting delayed. I turn in and say, I wonder why this train keeps getting delayed. 2 minutes later, he shows me messages from his supervisor explaining why the train was so delayed. I thanked him for being able to help me understand the issue, and we continued on our route.
Is his supervisor Thomas the Tank Engine? What?
Yes, it is. And then fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I go through his phone and find out that these messages are not coming from an actual supervisor. This whole time, he was the supervisor. So he was never on call. He never had to send a text to get off call. He had been texting himself back and forth for months, and he just recently stopped after I confronted him about it. I'd like to note that I was also not perfect in this relationship. I don't want to make it seem like he's the bad guy and I'm the innocent victim. However, this, I feel, is next level. Doing this takes serious dedication. And honestly, it's scary. I would have forgot to text myself back within 2 to 3 days. In one of the messages, he expressed to his supervisor that he was sick, and I remember being with him and taking care of him during this time. His supervisor, him, replied and said, "I hope you feel better. Make sure you stay hydrated and get rest." My brain cannot comprehend this. I asked him why he did this. His reasoning was that his parents don't believe that he's at work when he tells them, so he fakes messages so that he could show them as proof.
That still doesn't mean it's proof. Are you at work?
Sounds like BS to me. That excuse would have just barely been believable if he didn't include me in the lies. He apologized for including me in it and says he wants another chance to do better. But I'm afraid that this other chance will just be another cycle full of lies. If he's willing to go this far with little to no motive, how far is he willing to go when he has something worth trying to cover up? He also admitted that he'd do things to try to impress me. I think he may be having an identity crisis. I don't know. He makes me feel bad for choosing to walk away, but I keep trying to explain to him that this isn't a normal situation that people go through all the time. My brain cannot find a reason to validate this behavior. And by the way, I can validate that we have more full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
I'm still, like, I know OP's trying to wrap their head around it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, too. What the heck?
In such a quick story, too.
Yeah,
well,
what the heck?
Let's see what other details we get, and then we can discuss. I'd also like to note, before all of this, I also caught him posting a video on social media pretending like it was him when it really wasn't. But I chose to move on from that situation. I feel very disrespected. I feel like I welcomed a stranger into my life. I feel like he knows everything about me, but yet I don't know anything about him because I don't know what was real and what wasn't. If this were you, would you stay with this person? He seems very apologetic, and he's an amazing man aside from all of this, but this really, really threw me off.
Yeah, it looks like this guy has, like, either multi-personality disorder or something, because he's like, it wasn't even for like any really good reason. It was just to like give proof to people that, like, to validate him. Like, he's like,
Right.
oh yeah, like
The weird thing too is, like, if he did have multiple personalities, like, that would at least make more sense, but I don't think he'd remember, like, planning to text himself back.
I do not know. It's just very, very weird. Like, if it was like, I'm doing this to get out of work, or like, I'm doing this to just show that I got a fake promotion, or like to be the supervisor. The supervisor stuff was like, yeah, supervisor said I can take the day off. Or the supervisor said,
Right.
the train is delayed because of this.
The train one was weird because, like, you didn't need that answer. You were just like, I wonder what's holding the train
And
up.
it wasn't even it wasn't even cheating. He wasn't even cheating. It was just
Right.
like, I
It's just
do
not
not
being
know
fully-
how to go about this. This is
Yeah.
one of those ones where I'm like, huh?
I mean, sounds like she already broke up. And
Yeah.
I think that if that's really going to throw you off, like, to the point where you wouldn't believe what's true or not, like, that's really the only
Yeah,
way to go about that.
You're second guessing everything he says now, and
Yeah.
like everything that's been like, you're living a lie pretty much. Yeah, I don't blame you for breaking up with him.
Yeah, not at all.
I'm just like very confused on like his true motive of it was just to do it to, solidify things.
I don't even know.
Very weird. You got out of a very weird situation there, OP. But I would tell him maybe you should get help because that's some interesting behavior. My partner ate my leftovers and called me selfish for being upset.
Hey, that's not good.
I have much lower calorific needs than my partner. I am thin and I have IBS and I cannot handle a lot of food. He is slightly overweight and more active than me and eats double the food I do. By the way, this comes from user Sugun2. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. Pretty please. I don't want to police a grown man's food. I am okay with him eating more. I do try to make it so we eat healthy. But the problem is that I feel I have to eat the cost of his eating more, be it financial or labor. If we eat out, we split equally. We split equally for groceries. We split kitchen duties. In fact, I cook more because I like to eat healthy, and he makes meals that don't suit my stomach. So sometimes when I make tortillas, I get upset because I just made 10, which would last me 5 meals alone, but if he is over, he will eat 4. 4 now and 4 in the morning, and I just got 1 meal out of it? Girl, he's eating like 80% of the food. I thought it'd be like 60-40 or like 70, maybe like 65%, but that's like 80 to 90% of your food. What? I frequently get leftovers from restaurants to go because I cannot finish my meal. And in the morning, I wake up and he has finished them all. It has come to a head recently because my mom just made me a special meal and he ate most of it.
Have we told him to stop?
Yeah. This
Have
is
we
at a
said,
point.
That's my food.
At this point, this man doesn't care. Like, one, he should know.
I mean, if you've told him, yeah.
Yeah. But also, does he also ask you to eat the food? Or he just says, oh, food, mine.
Yeah, I still feel like it's something that we should at least try to be like, hey, like, that's my food.
Listen.
Know? And then maybe you could be like, I'll keep cooking you meals, but, like, you got to pay for the ingredients.
Opie says, whenever we talk about this, he says he cannot help eating more, which I get. It is what his body needs. He can also make his own food. I feel guilty asking him not to eat my meals or food my mom made because he says we are equals in a relationship and I should not be selfish.
Does he realize the imbalance there?
Hey, this is
Does he realize he's eating more, so that's not the same?
Yeah, this is what? But I cannot help but feel bad and mad. Please help. Do you keep a track of things like this in a partnership? Maybe you should truly be equals, and I should not think this way. By the way, you should have to think where to find full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to your favorite podcast apps, such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio, and search up OK Storytime. A little bit left here. No, OP.
Yeah,
Stop thinking like that.
He's out here being like, no, like, you should let me eat your leftovers because we're equal. But then he eats all of your food.
It's very simple math. I make 10 meals for me. I will give you 2 meals. The rest are for me. Done. Make your own meals. This needs to be a full-on conversation. If he's calling you selfish for, I don't know, making food for
eating your mom's meal.
Yeah, for the meals that are made for you and he eats them.
Crazy.
That's interesting logic. You know what you should do? Just don't have food in your fridge. See what he does. He's probably going to complain. And it's an ad. To clarify, at the time of the tortilla incident, we lived separately, but now have started living together. We decided to split finances equal, hence the split of groceries and dining out. He knows what he's doing. He knows. He'll be like, I'm going to get the ribeye steak, and OP's getting a salad. Split it right down the middle. He is not a thoughtless or unkind person in general. Food just seems to be the blind spot. I'll try to have this conversation again, now that I know I'm not being unreasonable about this. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, no, this is insane. You should also be like, you know what? I'm going to get all these snacks and food for me, but we're going to split it right down the middle where you got like one thing.
Well, he'd probably still eat it.
And he probably still would eat it. He's like, oh, that's for me, right? I get, you split the equal cost of living, sure. But when it comes to the groceries and food, I think you guys can share it from time to time, but he can't eat all of it. But I think you need to separate the finances on that because that is not fair, especially how he goes about it and how you go about it. So hopefully it works out for you guys and he understands and doesn't call you selfish anymore because that's insane. My girlfriend gave me an ultimatum, so I gave her one back.
Oh, double not healthy.
I, 32 male, and my girlfriend, Ellen, 33 female, have been together for 2 years, 7 months, and have been living in the same, my house, for 8 months. By the way, this comes from user AwkwardCrow401. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments. Please. As Opie says, the issue in question arose when my dad, 58 male, gave me his dog Mila, 6 female. She was a rescue, so we don't know her exact age. so close to my dog's name. Before I had even met Ellen, I made a promise with my dad to take Mila in if he couldn't take care of her, which is something I discussed with Ellen before she even moved in, and she had no complaints then. My dad fell ill 4 months ago, and of course, I took Mila in. He is not getting better, so he asked me to officially adopt her, and I agreed. Ellen was furious that I made this decision without consulting her, despite me having told her about the arrangement in the past. Although I feed, walk, groom, and manage all of Mila's needs, financially and otherwise, Ellen said she had to put her foot down on the issue. I asked Ellen if there were any specific reasons she was so opposed to keeping Mila, and she stated the following. She said that since she works from home full-time, whereas I'm closer to 50-50, that I can't understand how much having a dog around affects her work. She makes clay art, crockery, that sort of thing. Having a dog is expensive, and it will be a drain on our finances, which are not jointed, I'll note, and I've paid for everything so far. It will make it more difficult for us if we ever have or ever want to have a child. Our house is not huge, so it doesn't make sense to have a big dog like Mila. She has friends who have severe dog hair allergies. She doesn't want them to feel that they can't visit anymore. None of her complaints had anything to do with any bad behavior. Mila does not jump on people or furniture, bite, bark at visitors. She will follow commands to leave a room if they're given to her, etc.
That's tough, though, because those were some, valid reasons, but you laid up front that you would have the dog eventually.
This was a discussion forefront.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand that if you're the one that's home all the time with the dog, doing something that involves, not that it's arts and crafts, but, something that involves, hands-on making stuff, and you have a dog that's, potentially running around or getting dog hair and that.
Yeah.
I have a cat, and a lot of my friends are allergic to it, and they don't come over to my house because they're allergic to cats.
It's just so hard
no matter
because
how much I clean.
Especially with everything going on, I feel like Ellen should try to understand at least maybe a little bit of time and leeway before she's like, no, I get it. This was last minute.
Right. I think things could settle and she's gonna realize
is she doing the
I'm
dog?
sorry, it was just a lot up front. We're getting this dog that I've been dealing with all the time. So I feel like if we can change up some things of just let's make you your own space. Let's make you an area away from the dog.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys can make one room in the house
where the dog
fully
doesn't go
dog
in.
free, and then your friends can come over still.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Just something, not just up front. No, she should understand where you're coming from, and she shouldn't be taking it out on the dog or you. It should be a compromise and working this out, especially again when you voiced up front if this were to happen, it would come to this. Back to the story. I see that these are reasonable objections to not taking Mila in, but I stayed firm in my position. Ellen said that if I loved her, I would make other arrangements, and at this stage, I was getting a bit angry, so what I said next may have been a little harsh.
Hey.
I told her, love has nothing to do with this. My first responsibilities are my dad and Mila, and nothing you say will convince me to send her away. If you seriously can't cope with that, you can get out of my home. Yee.
Okay.
That was aggressive.
Yeah. It does seem like both sides are just kind of getting pretty riled pretty quick. I think there's compromises from both sides. I think that could be had. Obviously, though, you told her upfront about Mila. Mila's staying.
And I also agree that love, yes, love has nothing, it's not your relationship with Ellen. This is your relationship with your dad and Mila, and your arrangement and agreement to what was going to happen at this point. She should respect that. And again, it should be a compromise of how to work things through and work this out. But I see both of you just sticking to no or yes. Not hey, what can we do to make this work for all of us, especially Mila? Ellen burst into tears at this and left to go stay with her mom, citing that I clearly need time to think this over. A bunch of her friends who know me have been telling me that I'm a total a-hole for prioritizing a dog over my girlfriend of nearly 3 years. But my own friends have been telling me to stand my ground. Ellen has been radio silent, has not come home, and is not responding to my texts. So, I guess I'm looking for some unbiased opinions on the matter. Would I be the a-hole if I kept Mila? No.
From that question, no. But I do
No.
think, like I said, I do think there can be
Other
changes and compromises to help on both ends. Because you're not the
100%.
one that's there taking care of Mila all day.
Yeah, he's 50-50, but
Right. And she's already been doing a lot then if she's been the one home, letting Mia out, maybe taking Mila on walks, like that kind of thing. Like,
that is the sacrifice of having a pet, and I think she just doesn't want a pet. So, but we have an update. It's only been a few days, but a lot has happened. Ellen finally agreed to meet up earlier today.
oh, nice.
Ironically, though people were telling me to break up with her, she beat me to it. We talked over coffees for a few hours, and what many of you suggested was true. Her real reason for not wanting to keep Mila was separate from all of the other ones she offered me. She just said she thinks I've changed too much since we got her. And when I asked her what she meant, she stated that I'm less passionate and engaged with her than before. Ellen, your partner's dad is ill and has to figure this all out, and what?
Hey, well, he can keep Mila much easier now.
Yeah.
No problems there.
I'm not getting the attention I want or deserve just because of this dog. I don't really know if I could do anything with that, whether it's to do with the stress of my father's condition or not. But she basically said I'm not the person she fell in love with anymore. She's packing up her things even as I type this. It's hard in a way I can't describe. Like, all of a sudden I'm losing all of the people I love. But I also know that I can't control her decision to leave if that's what she wants. And, by the way, I want you to listen to full episodes with stories just like this one by going to your favorite podcast app such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio. There's a little bit left here. It does suck. This does suck, OP, but if she really... You can't change your mind. You can't change her emotions like that. And you weren't going to change yours either. Mila was staying no matter what. One person had to go. One had to go, one had to stay. It does suck that you guys couldn't find like a middle ground, but sometimes that's it. In brighter news, Mila is doing well.
Yay.
Some of you were concerned that Ellen might spirit her away, but she's still very much around. I brought her to the hospital park area to see my dad, and she was over the moon to be with him again. So I'll probably keep that up as long as he's able. I've also taken up the recommendations to find a doggy daycare for the days I'm in the office. I'll start dropping her off there next week, and if all goes well, I'm sure she'll make plenty of friends. There isn't much else to say other than thank you. There's been an enormous amount of love and support coming from this subreddit. People were sending dozens of heartfelt messages. I even had to turn my phone off because all the notifications were too much of a distraction at work. It's a strange and difficult time all around for Mila and I, but we'll try to navigate it as best as we can. That's all, I suppose. And that's the end of that story. Yeah.
You and Mila will have fun.
Yeah, and that's cute. Like, Ellen should have understood, like, it's a tough spot. It's not like, hey, this is the best thing, but, like, this is what it's come to, and we have to work around this, not just, and she just couldn't work around it. She had to walk away. But you have Mila, and I hope your dad does get better.
Yeah, I hope so.
And, you find someone that enjoys Mila's presence as much as you do.
Yeah, someone will.
Yes.
I put myself out there for the first time, and it changed my life.
If you're not first, you're last.
I am a single gal and live in a one-bedroom apartment, and I've seen my neighborhood guy who is also single, and last night got the balls to chat with him, and now have a huge crush. By the way, this comes from Audrey, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, last night I was doing laundry while kinda wasted, and he came in at the same time, so I was like, I forgot my quarters. Do you have a few? I'll pay you back. I had plenty of quarters, by the way.
Sneaky, OP, sneaky.
Without hesitation, he handed me the Ziploc bag of quarters and said, no worries, take what you need. I see him all the time, and he says hi, so I formally introduced myself, and then I left. During the drying cycle, I came back and saw him and could tell he was kind of buzzed, And we actually chatted for a long time, and he was super friendly and really easy to talk to. He is an in-shape dude, and I'm a fat girl, so intimidated to talk to him, but he's super friendly. At one point he said, if you ever get bored, come by for an adult soda. I don't have a lot going on.
Ooh, that's interesting.
My plan is I just baked some cookies and want to bring them to him with a few beers and see how he reacts.
I'm sorry, if I think any guy, I'm not speaking for every guy, but a lot of people would be stoked to have adult beverages and baked fresh cookies. To be like, hey, guess what I got?
But part of me thinks that is super creepy, and I don't want to embarrass myself. And we have some top and relevant comments, but I think you should do it.
Do it.
As long as you know that he's actually single, too, I think you should do it.
Or if he is single, if he is in a relationship, you have a friend in the apartment complex. It's just like a
No,
casual.
but she's doing this
I
with
know.
the motives of flirting, so I don't think you should do it if you don't know that he's single.
But also, if he were in a relationship, I don't see why he would be like, hey, if you ever want to have an adult beverage,
Because
come over to my
sometimes
place.
people are icky.
Fair.
I'm just saying to look out for yourself. Relevant and top comments. Commenter 1. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Commenter 2. Yeah, that's not creepy. He invited you over. If you came by uninvited, maybe creepy. He also gave you the change you needed for the laundry, so bring cookies and adult soda is totally acceptable. Just be tactful. If he hasn't given you any indication that he's interested, then maybe don't try to kiss him or anything. Perhaps his intentions are purely platonic, and it could get weird or embarrassing. I don't know about you, but for me, usually when both people are into each other, the situation develops organically into hooking up. Compliments lead to friendly touches, to more intimate ones, to spicy sleep / whatever. Just go with the flow. Opie says, see, my idea was to bring the cookies and be like, this is repayment for the change, which I think is pretty smooth. I don't plan on hooking up or anything. I just want to get to know him better.
See? It's great. I think the best thing you can do is if you ever see him again, like, hey, I'm doing this. Or, again, you can just knock on his door. You got this, OP.
Commenter 3 says, just do it. You just gotta grit your teeth and do it. You don't need the perfect plan or the perfect outfit. You just have to go knock on his door. Worst case scenario, you get rejected. That'd sting for a minute, but even then, you get to say to yourself, I knew I could do it.
Yeah.
Which is way better than letting your life pass you by and wondering what would have happened if you had only tried.
Love it. Yeah, do it.
But here's the thing. You're probably cool AF. He'll probably be so stoked that you took him up on his offer. He's probably going to think that those cookies are the sweetest thing anyone's ever done. You're probably going to have an awesome time. Again, take the shot. You've got this. Opie says, this actually gave me confidence. My thing is, we have lived here for years and just now got to know him, so I agree, nothing to lose. But also, I'm 5'1" and 210 pounds, but this dude is like legit hot, but I never see a girl with him. Part of me has the F it attitude, but also I have low self-esteem, so I'm conflicted. Like, I just don't want to show up and have him put off. That would not help my case. But also, I think he would be cool with it, so that's why I'm asking, I guess. We have an update later that day.
This update better be, so I knocked on his door.
It better be.
I brought the adult beverages. I brought the baked goods.
Yeah,
and
girl,
we
he
hung
wouldn't
out.
have invited you over if he didn't want you to actually knock on his door.
Genuinely. And you guys were sitting in the laundry room chatting it up. If he didn't want to talk to you or invite you, he wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So,
Update. Later that day, OP writes an update in the comments. Alright, so I'm kind of buzzed, and after the supportive replies, I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. F it. And we have some more comments. Commenter 1 says, get 'em, girl, rooting for ya. And we have another update the day after, another update in the comments. Update 2, day after. Update. So, first of all, I have crap confidence. And when I posted this, I was secretly hoping people would be like, don't do it, girl. But I just put myself out there, and I'm glad I did. I brought a plate of homemade peanut butter cookies and 2 Sierra Nevada to this dude's door.
nice.
When I knocked, he immediately said, what's up, Sarah? And the fact that he remembered my name went a long way, and I was caught off guard.
Aw.
I presented the gift, and he actually invited me in and was an effing gentleman, to say the least. Since, as he said, there's 2 of us and 2 of those. It was only like an hour since I didn't want to wear out my welcome, but we had an effing awesome chats and had a really good time. I effed up and did the, why is a guy like you single? He pretty much said he goes to bed and at 8 every night and doesn't get out much. Then my answer was, I have a good job, but everything physical. And he said, I'm effing hot, but we don't need to get ahead of ourselves. He then said, I'm welcome over anytime, and we have a date planned for Thursday, and I'm really effing excited, like really bad. By the way, I would be really excited if you guys went and listened to more full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left.
Let's freaking go.
You did it.
You're gonna kiss.
You have a date on Thursday.
You're probably gonna kiss.
Maybe kiss.
Ooh. Good job, OP.
If you didn't already.
Good job, OP. You did it. I'm so proud of you. And pat yourself on the back for pushing yourself and you getting all the support to do it. Good job.
I have never once put myself out there like this, but honestly, this thread gave me the confidence. Even if I just get a new friend, that's cool. But I feel like this is an emotional level since he doesn't care about my looks. Girl, he called you hot and asked you on a date.
He also remembered your name.
And knew that it was you when you knocked.
I probably hit you like a gust of wind. You're like, he remembers my name.
Relevant in top comments. Commenter 1. So effing stoked for you. OP says, I have never once had a guy ask me out on a date. I'm feeling really good about what I did. I'm literally crying with joy. Commenter 2 says, this brings me so much joy. I'm so happy that you're happy. I'm a very forward gal myself, and I love telling other ladies to just go and tell the dude they think is hot that he's hot. Well done, my dude. OP says, yes. I have never been in this situation, so I'm really, really effing happy. I'm really hoping this works out with him, but even if not, I'm going to put myself out there more often. And that's the end of that story. Yay!
Let's go, OP. Congrats.
It was a good story.
Yeah, and I agree. If things, hopefully they work out, but if things don't, you have a friend.
Yeah.
Like, great.